Welcome to another episode of Real Estate, Real Life, Real Talk, Real Live with the real secrets of money with your host, Damon the Agent. I'm going to be changing that name from Damon the Agent to Broker DTA, which also means Damon the Agent. But last week I wasn't on because of the fact is I had to go take my broker's license. Of course, I passed. Thank God, I accomplished that. I had to block out distractions last week. So that was one of the reasons why I was not on. But as always, we're going to get into the wonderful world of real estate. So today I'm going to talk about the buyer's market, the buyer's housing market. The reason why I'm talking about this is because so much is shifting in the real estate world today. Regardless if you're in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, you're seeing a flood of houses that is occurring, in which the flood of houses that are occurring, it is giving buyers more options. So for some sellers who have their house currently sitting on the market, some of them were wondering why. Some of them think it's the agent. Has nothing to do with the agent. I don't care how many open houses are done. I don't care how much marketing is done. It has to do with buyers have more options these days. Now, the reason why these buyers have more options is because they have a flood of homes. This is 2025. If you go back to 2020, it was very few homes. 2021, similar thing. But now, because of such a array of houses, that this is just happening. Like, for example, in DC alone, that the median price has increased to 2.4% over the year in the past year, but the number of homes has decreased so much by 15.7%. That's almost a 16% decrease as far as people buying homes. And people say, why is that? Because there are more houses on the market now. Like, for example, this year, what has occurred with a lot of job layoffs, a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people decided to sell. People flooded the market with their homes. So now it gives buyers more options. So if you are a buyer and you're looking to buy, you right now have the upper hand. I'm not saying you're going to get everything in the kitchen sink, but what I'm saying is you have some leverage. It just depends on the negotiation. It depends on the market that you are in. But I do want you to know that we are in a buyer's market in a lot of areas in the DMV. So again, there are small pockets that are still a seller's market where the sellers still have the upper hand because the demands are still great and the inventory is still low. But in overall, the houses are flooded on the market. So as a buyer, be a savvy buyer, know how to negotiate. If you don't, give me a call. My number is 240-694-6460. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of speed through these things. The next talk I'm going to is the house of the week, and then I'm going to get into my Father's Day rant. Okay. And yes, I have a rant for Father's Day. So hold on for 1 second while I bring up the house of the week. So right here, this property is actually having an open house tomorrow. So if you're in the Greenbelt, Maryland area, please come through. I'm going to have my colleague there. I'm going to be there for a moment. But this is one of my listings. This is a condo. It is a vacant condo. Perfectly priced. It's a great investment property. It's also good for a first-time home buyer. Very spacious. It's a 2-bedroom, 2 full-bath condos. With the condo fees, all utilities are included. So I want you all to take a look at this. Perfectly painted, new carpet. You have the recessed lightings in the house. It's been perfectly updated. It does have a washer and dryer in the unit. Now, purchasing this condo along with the condo fee will make you equivalent or less to what the apartments are going for in the areas, and also with other luxury apartments are going for as well too. You can't beat this price, you all. So please come to the open house tomorrow at 6952 Hanover Parkway, Suite 300. The open house begins at 12 noon. From 12 to 2 p.m., we will be conducting this open house. Like I said, I'll be there briefly. I will have a colleague there as well. So if anyone is interested in this condo, again, in Greenbelt, Maryland, 6952 Hanover Parkway, please let me know so we can basically help you all to get this at a great price, and also to, do what we do. But All right, so that's the condo and my Q&A. My Q&A session, which is my questions and answer. And I want to answer this question right here real quick. The question is, do you think you will have a better chance of getting approved for a home mortgage loan using a company that the newly constructed home offers? Do you think you will have a better chance of getting approved for a mortgage loan using the company that the newly constructed home offers? Now, here's the thing. This is a yes or no. This is a yes or no question. And the reason being is with new constructions, you have to take into consideration that most time houses are being built. A lot of times when you go into new constructions, they would tell you can sign the contract. They would ask for you to put a deposit down. Even if your credit is not up to par, they would try to work with you to get your score up to par. So let's say the house is hypothetically being built 3 to 6 months down the road. Okay. They will give you all the tools and give you all the information to get your credit scores up to par. But if you do not get your credit scores up to par by the time it is to go to settlement with new constructions, they're going to hold you accountable, meaning that if you don't go through, they're going to keep your earnest money deposit. So do you stand a better chance? You get more chance to get approved because they're giving you a longer window, meaning you don't have to be approved today, but you have to be approved when it's time to go to closing. Right, but 30 days, 45 days before closing, you have to be, your credit score has to be up to par. So is it a better chance? Most of those mortgage companies just have a contract with the builders. So they're the regular mortgage company that most professional real estate agents use. So is it a better chance? You have more time to get approved with new constructions versus that if you're going to buy a resale property today, you have to already be approved right now. So the question to that is yes or no. They use the same companies that everyone else is using, but because it's new construction and your property is being built, it gives you more time to get approved for the home loan. So that's the answer to that question. So I'll be right back. I'm coming back with my Father's Day rant. I'll be right back. Well, thank you all for joining me. And before I begin, I just want to say that if you are not following me on all social media platforms, please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Please follow me. Now, today I want to have a Father's Day rant. I wasn't going to do this at first, but when I spoke to some people after sharing my Father's Day experience, many people said I needed to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. Now, I heard from Chris Rock, the comedian, one time said that the only people who are loved unconditionally are children and dogs, in which it's a joking manner, but in all honesty, I can actually relate to him. Now, on Father's Day, I'm just going to share my experience because I can't speak for all the fathers out there, even though I've spoken to many fathers. I know one guy that I know said he doesn't do half the things for his kids that I did, but he got more. So I have 5 kids. Everybody know I have 5 kids. Everybody knows about my youngest baby who's 5 years old, and I have 4 grown kids. Everybody knows out of my 4 grown kids, I raised one of my children, my 27-year-old, since she was 4. I had custody of her. I was a single father. Now, on Father's Day, you would have thought that I at least got a phone call from them. No, besides one. My one daughter, Aisha, my baby Aisha, she was the only one out of my grown kids that actually sent me a heartfelt text message. And she even got me a gift, in which I wasn't even looking for a gift from my baby because I know sometimes she has challenges like financial and stuff, trying to just be a young adult and everything. But she was the only one who gave me, like, even her text message was heartfelt. My other grown kids, my son, he's out of town. He texts me 9:30 at night just saying happy Father's Day. He appreciate all I did. He can tell the effort. My other 2, the one that I raised and my oldest daughter, they just sent me a happy Father's Day text. Now, when I got the text, and even with my daughter, my youngest daughter, she gave me some little gifts from her mother. Her mother didn't even tell me happy Father's Day. That's a whole nother story because I remember also with her mother, I told her over a year ago, she's a good mother. And she told, And I said, you never said I'm a good father. And her response was, well, you doing what you're supposed to do. And all that I do is take my daughter to the playground, is what she told me. But that's to be expected from a person who didn't grow up with a father, who doesn't value, appreciate a father, because she didn't have one. So she doesn't understand that time is the most important thing with kids and being a father. That's one of the things, along with words of wisdom, along with money, things, those other things. But with my other kids, I just want to relate on some things to explain how I feel and why I feel the way that I do. First of all, with my daughter that I raised and everything, she had called me 2 days before Father's Day. She always called me for a lot of stuff. She calls me when she go through things with her kids' father, for a whole bunch of stuff. So 2 days before Father's Day, she called me. She had a flat tire. When she got the flat tire, she was panicking. She had the kids in the car. She didn't have any money. I sent her some money to get the tire and also extra to get the kids some food for McDonald's. Father's Day, I just got a happy Father's Day, dad, and a post on her story. Not even a phone call, which was bothersome to me. Also, after Father's Day that week, like I told you, I got my broker's license. I was studying and everything. She called me on 2 days after Father's Day 4 times. I didn't answer the phone because I know every time she calls, it's something going on. Plus, I was focusing on my text. She was worried, some got in her feelings, reached out to my other daughter, Aisha, and everything. And then my oldest daughter, she didn't call me. She texted me, Happy Father's Day. That was it. Back on May 20th, on my youngest daughter's birthday, I texted her. She didn't respond back. I knew something was wrong because she didn't respond back. Never texted me again until Father's Day. So then she started texting me. She called me on Thursday after Father's Day. I didn't respond because, again, that's the same week I was studying for my test. I didn't want any distraction because every time she called me, it's the same thing. It's always something going on. Well, they both found out that, I didn't call them and stuff like that. So Bianca, the one that, I'm sorry, I didn't even say it, but my daughter that I raised, she has the audacity to block me because she's mad at me because I'm disappointed that she didn't call me. So she blocked me is what I heard. I really don't care. I'm at a point in my life where people are grown. My oldest daughter, texting her, going back and forth with her, became disrespectful. Told me you don't abandon grown kids and stuff. I don't understand how it's abandonment because I didn't answer my phone. Oh, they're used to me answering my phone, but the one day out the year that I expected a phone call from, I don't even get a phone call. So I'm the bad guy. And when I say all these things to say, when I looked at everybody, like I know people who've done less than half of what I've done on Father's Day was getting balloons, was being taken out to get steak. I mean, my youngest kid, she fixed me some lasagna, which I don't know why, because lasagna is okay. It used to be my favorite meal about 10, 15 years ago, but I would rather have ribs. Everybody know I love ribs and stuff, but either way, I just felt totally unappreciated by everybody in my immediate circle. All my kids, my youngest kid, no value appreciated whatsoever. As a man, I've always tried to give my kids what I didn't get from my father. See, my father never spent time with us. We knew of him. He never showed us anything. He was very popular in DC, very good in sports, never showed me how to play sports, never spent time with me. So the one thing that I try to give all of my kids was time. Even with my grown kids, when they was raising them, I had to deal with a lot from 3 kids' baby mothers, not one, but 3. They all were somewhat against me for some reason. I had to pay child support for all 3 of them. At the same time, I was trying to spend time with them because I knew how important time was. Even though I had people at the time telling me to go on with your life, start a new family, do all these things. But I didn't do that because those are my kids. That's my blood in their veins. That's always been my mentality. Those are my blood in their veins. What type of father would I be to my kids? And I try to give my kids what I didn't have: time, conversation. Money's going to be there regardless, because if the kid is around, you're going to spend money on them. At least that's what I do anyway. So that was never my concern. But I feel like I've given my kids so much that they've gotten to the point of being entitled and unappreciative, because for me not to pick up the phone for my kids and they copping attitudes when they didn't even pick up the phone to call me on Father's Day is the audacity at the highest level. And I say all this to say that I love my kids, but I'm at a point that forget my kids, because one thing I saw growing up was a lot of mothers who were, there was a lot of guys going to jail a lot of times growing up. And when they were going to jail, their mother was putting liens on their house to get lawyers. And when they would come back out, they were stressing their mother out. And I feel like some of my friends growing up sent their parents to an early grave. And that was one thing that I'd always said, that my kids would not send me to an early grave. You know, even though I may not be appreciated by my kids, even though I made sacrifices for them growing up, you know, not just financially, but relationship wise, blood, sweat, tears that I made for them. And even as an adult, let's go back about a month and a half ago. There was a time about a month and a half ago where all three of my adult daughters called me with a problem. One of my daughters called me crying. Another one called me because her baby father and her were getting into a fighting and ended up police involved. Other one called me because her husband and her kids and stuff. When they all called me, I stopped what I doing, answered the phone for them, because that's what a father does. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell each of them that, oh, I'm dealing with your sister, but I dealt with all their problems. On top of that, dealing with all of my problems as a man, as a human being and everything. See, there's so much that I go through alone. People don't know because I don't have it. When I wake up every day by myself. Okay. You understand? I wake up every day by myself. I don't have anyone to confide in or talk to about a lot of things. I share things with colleagues in my office. I talk to people, they give me advice, and thank God that they do, because there's a couple of situations without these advice from these people, you know, ain't no telling how things would have turned out. But what I say is, as a man who go through everything by himself, figuring out stuff, trying to deal with my mother, you know, when I had my daughter, trying to spend time with her, invest time and wisdom with her, running my businesses, because I have two businesses. I have real estate and I have life insurance. On top of that, you know, doing all my administrative stuff and not having no help. And then the very least that I expect is a phone call from my own flesh and blood, and you don't get it. As a man, I don't think people realize how hurtful that is. And I think that people don't understand that I'm human just like everybody else. You know, when I feel a certain type of way, I'm deemed as wrong. But when people do what they want to do, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's never been okay. But just like God has given me grace, I've given my kids grace. I've allowed things because they're my kids. You know, as a father, you sometimes be like, okay, let this go. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Because they've always seen me as dad, father, but they don't understand a lot of things they do. I wouldn't tolerate from strangers, but I let things go because they're my blood and my kids. But you get to a point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I say that to say that my kids are grown, my grown kids. They can go on with their life. I pray for my kids all the time. I love my kids to death, all of them. My baby, 5 years old, of course, I'm going to try to be the best father to her as possible, even though I have no appreciation from her mother whatsoever. Never said you're a good father. Didn't even say happy Father's Day to me on Father's Day. Told my daughter, say happy Father's Day to your father, but never even said it. Never value, you know what I'm saying, me as a man, as an individual. Never given me respect. But here's the thing. People who didn't give me respect, I'm taking my respect from now on. So when I'm out there behaving a certain way, don't call me the villain when I've given everybody all I can. Because the one thing I've realized is people die every day. When you see people die, that's when people want to give people their flowers instead of giving them their flowers while they're alive. You know, people don't appreciate you till you're gone. People don't appreciate you until you go on and you start doing something else. And then they want to try to talk about certain things. But here's the thing, though. Like I said, my father never gave me conversation. My father never gave me time. My father never showed me how to play basketball and everything. So when you all see me spending time with my youngest, that's what I always try to do with my grown. When you all see me talking to her, that's what I always try to do with my own. And even though her mother may not appreciate it, I pray to God that when she becomes an adult, that she appreciate that dad. My dad was dead. My dad took me to the playground all the time. My dad took me to Five Below. My dad took me to Popeye. My dad took me to get ice cream. My dad tried to do all these experiences with me. I pray that when she becomes an adult, that she just appreciate it. Because as men, all we want is appreciation and respect. And when we don't get it, it is hurtful. Like I said, with my kids, I just wanted a phone call. Even though everybody said I deserved a gift, I didn't even get a phone call. I didn't even get the bare minimum, but yet I was wrong for feeling the way I want to, because I chose not to answer the phone, even though they used to me answering the phone all the time. And at the same time, though, I'm protecting my mental because I had to study for a test. See, sometimes in life, there are distractions all around you. You got to block everyone out, and that includes family, and that includes friends, that includes work and everything. And that's exactly what I did. So I say with love, I love my kids, but I also say, listen, my kids are grown. They can do what they want. And to all the people who didn't appreciate me or value me ever in my life, forget you all. I don't care who you are. You understand? To all those who always value and appreciate me, I appreciate and I love you all, and you all know who you are. So I wanted to share this Father's Day rant because I hear other fathers complaining, but they don't say nothing to the kids. They don't say nothing to me. And that was me. I would complain too to each other. Like, what you get for Father? Like last year, I didn't get anything for Father's Day. It was me, my daughter, my mother, and I'm eating pie. I got a card. I did get a card with some money in it. But it ain't always the, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes as a man, you want to feel appreciated. You understand? Sometimes it's just holding a conversation with someone to see what's on their mental, what's on their mind and everything. To what's, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what people don't understand. Like I said, as men, we're simple. You know what I'm saying? We like food, we like sports, we like cars, we like women, we like, you know what I'm saying, money, we like appreciation, we like respect. We like certain things, like we like good food too. We're simple. But when you don't even give us the simple things, when you don't acknowledge us, see, a man who feels valued and appreciated will run through a brick wall for his woman or his family. But a man who doesn't feel valued, appreciated, he's going to be hanging out at the bar, strip clubs with his friends, head, even over another woman's house or anything. And I don't want to hear, oh, he wrong for hanging over the other woman's house. No, he's not. He's human. You understand? He has feelings. And sometimes, because I know a colleague of mine, she told me her husband has been putting on cologne and dressing up. And I said, have you ever complimented your husband? She said, no. I said, guess what? Somebody on his job is complimenting him. That's why he's doing it. So y'all act like when men do certain things and stuff, he wrong and doing so, fail to realize he human. And sometimes y'all don't even think about what y'all doing or not doing, because 9 times out of 10, y'all not doing. But that's a whole nother story and stuff. So I still say that to say that my Father's Day was like any other Sunday. It was like any other Sunday. If you all see me on Sunday, anybody knows on Sundays I go to church. Anybody knows that after church, I go either take my daughter to the playground and go to see my mother. And by the time I take my daughter to the playground, because I don't have a limit on her, I could take her anywhere from 5 minutes up to 2, 3 hours. Yeah, it depends on how she's feeling, how I'm feeling. Depends on the weather. If it's too hot, if it's too cold, just like it was just 100 degrees on Sunday, I still took my daughter to the playground. I said, we're going to be out here 5, no more than 10 minutes. We were out there for about 30 minutes. She was sweating. You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to leave. In the wintertime, when it's cold, I take her out there. See, I take her out there not for me, because I know that's her happy place. So when I've been told that by her mother, all you do is take her to the playground, because I know that's her happy place. She's a child. I hear so many grown people who talk about what their fathers did for them or what their fathers didn't do for them. But the one thing my daughter's going to know for me is that I invested time with her. And you can't take, there's certain things in this world that you can never get back. And that's people and time. So the time that I invest is well spent. And I know that one day she will value and appreciate it. But it's just hurtful when people throw things and say things like that to you as if you're supposed to be doing more, because kids don't know about money. All the money I spend on her, whatever I spend or whatever I give her mother, she don't know or care about that. She gonna care about what I did with her. And that's the same thing as growing up with my other kids. I was trying to invest in them time, wisdom, knowledge, because the money's going to be invested regardless. So even though I wasn't told Happy Father's Day by her mother, or I was sent a Happy Father's Day text, which texting is not personal. This is why I want to share with you all, for those who don't know. That's why when you start talking to somebody and y'all texting only and people ghost you and there's no attachment, there is no attachment, because texting is no attachment. It's no bonding, and it's really not personable. You understand? You build a relationship when you're talking to people, when people hear your voice, your tone. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how relationships are built. That's why sometimes people can build a relationship speaking to somebody across country that they've never seen in person. But yet you can have a person that you actually see physically that can be right there beside you and you have no relationship with you because there's no conversation. So I say that to say that the texting was very impersonal, especially when you're calling somebody all the time for your problems and your dramas and everything else going on. And again, feel used when you do that. Don't call me afterwards when you called me for everything before. What you calling for now? And again, I'm human and I've been too nice. I'm just going to share that too. I've been too nice. But the reason, again, I've been nice is because God has been nice to me. God has given me grace. So I try to spread that grace and be nice. But I ain't nice no more to certain people. And I don't care. I don't give a flying F. Okay. Let's just leave it like that. So I just wanted to share that Father's Day rant because as a father who's made many sacrifices for all my kids, trust me, all my kids, even the baby, made sacrifices for. Y'all don't know what I go through. Y'all don't know my what I every day. I struggle trying to find out what outfits I'm wearing every day. Even though sometimes people say, "Oh, you look nice," they don't even know what I went through, struggling trying to find that. I come home, I crash every night mostly. I fall asleep with my clothes on most every night. I eat out a lot. That's why people always saying Chipotle and stuff like that. Cause guess what? Nobody cooking for me. So I gotta eat still. And I'm just saying that to say that nobody knows what I go through before my interaction with my kids, before my interaction with people and stuff. And I deal with it because this is the life that I live. But don't criticize me. Don't criticize me because here's the thing: words of affirmation are it's my first love language. And if you don't compliment me, don't criticize me because I'm going to remember both. See, when people say words and stuff, I remember whether it's good or bad. So when people talk stuff, I remember. So when people say certain things in text messages, I remember. Because guess what? That's how people really feel. People say stuff when they're angry and when they're drunk. That's how they really feel. So I wanted to give you this Father's Day rant because I want to share all the fathers. I know that many are valued and appreciated. And like I said in the beginning, like Chris Rock said, men are only valued and appreciated based off what they do. Because the only people loved unconditionally are dogs and children. And remember that. So when you're living your life, live your life. Because when you pass away, you're going to be talked about based off what you did, not who you are. And see, me as a human being, I have a heart. And I would rather be judged based on who I am than what I did. But unfortunately, in family, that doesn't go. It seems like the people who appreciate and value most are the people outside of your family. Because I hear all the time about the time I spend with my daughter, the time I spend with my mother. But I never get that type of compliment or recognition within. It is what it is because I do things for my daughter and my mother because I know that's where God placed me and that's what God wants me to do. So I say that to say that thank you for listening to my Father's Day rant. I'll be back with my closing remarks. Okay, now closing remark. Again, this is a buyer's market that we're in right now. So if you are a buyer, you have the upper hand, but that does not mean you can ask for everything in the kitchen sink. You have to know how to negotiate. And if you don't, call me. I can help you write a winning offer because it's what I do. And I also want to talk about my Father's Day rant. Again, my Father's Day was just a regular day. You know, I always hear about how such a great father I am from everyone, but I wasn't shown any appreciation. So it's how I feel. But again, it's life. It is what it is. Please follow me on all social media platforms. I thank you for joining me again. That is on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, Snapchat, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And if you have any questions, please check out my website, DamonSellsDMV.com. And I am Broker DTA. I thank you all. Have a great day.